Going to go ahead. Oh, you did that, Joe?
Continue.
Okay, thank you.
And you have to get permission to stay.
It's too late for that. We'll see you guys in court. So, welcome everyone. My name is Steve Dubin. I am one of the three partners of My Pinnacle Network. Today, we bring you a webinar about digital marketing. And I want to talk first about our sponsors. Lois, you represent South Shore Networking Professionals. Would you like to do a quick hello and intro about your organization?
Absolutely. South Shore Networking Professionals started over 11 years ago. We did a lot of open networking in our day. Now, of course, we're sponsoring with Steve these webinars, and we'll do other educational and events. As soon as things open up, we plan on doing some pointed events, partnering with My Pinnacle Network.
Okay, thanks, Lois. And I want to offer greetings from one of our sponsors, Rockland Trust, who offer a wide range of banking, investment, and insurance services to businesses and individuals through their retail branches, their commercial offices, their investment management offices, and their residential lending centers throughout Eastern Mass and Rhode Island. And Joe, you want to do a greeting from My Pinnacle Network?
Sure. My Pinnacle Network is a business-to-business networking organization. We have 5 locations: Needham, Braintree, Westboro, Mansfield, Pembroke, and did I say Braintree? I always forget.
It's hard to keep track.
It is. We got 5 locations. It's a monthly meeting. That's how we differentiate ourselves. We meet once a month, and mypinnaclenetwork.com. You can find out more information, or just drop a note to me and Steve. We have a full slate of meetings coming up for July if you're a B2B professional.
Okay, well, thank you. And then just a quick note on upcoming events. We're trying to do at least a webinar a month. The next event after this will be July 28th at 9 a.m. That'll include Joe Duramo, who just spoke, as well as Brian Kaplan, who will be talking about sort of the essentials of email marketing. And then in August, we will be having Lisa Levesque talk about the key items that you must attend to on a daily basis in your business if you do nothing else. These are the key things that you need to pay attention to. And then lastly, on our calendar in September, we'll be doing a how to get free press webinar that will include a number of members of the press who will reveal how to best get at them and get your story picked up by the media. So let me introduce our guests and start our program. Good to see everybody arriving on the scene now. Digital Marketing Made Simple will feature Matt Phillips of Metro Annex Interactive, based in Weymouth, Mass., and Dave DeBlasio of DeBlasio New Media Marketing, based in Newton, Mass. And let me turn it over to you, gentlemen. Take it away. And Matt, I think your volume might be really low.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Matt.
While Matt's getting going, I'll just jump in and give a layout for what we're going to do in the meeting. So Matt's going to do 10 minutes on the digital marketing funnel, and then I'm going to do 10 minutes on the foundation for any digital marketing funnel, which is the website and what you should look for in your site. So Matt, do you want to take it away?
Matt, we still can't hear you.
It's funny, I could hear him earlier.
Yeah, you could hear him earlier, but
Don't worry, he's a technical guru. He'll figure this out.
How am I doing now?
Well, yeah,
You
you're
got
good.
it.
Got it. We had every confidence in you, Matt.
Absolutely. Weren't even
I got a Yeti microphone and I moved it around too much and I unplugged it.
Oh, all right, okay.
All right. So let me share something here. Do you see my presentation?
We do.
Okay, great. All right. So wait here. Oh, hold on. I'm having difficulties here. I don't know why.
By the way, I'd like to mention before we go too far, if you have comments or questions, please put them in the chat section. I will relay them. Joe and I will relay them to the speakers as appropriate so they can respond in real time as we're on the topic.
Yeah, and I didn't mention also that we are leaving a lot of time for question and answer because there's so much to cover with digital marketing. So we really wanted to do a couple of 10-minute sort of teaser intros just to get some thoughts flowing, and then really open up to questions for a large part of the morning, because we know that there'll be a lot of different questions that people might have, and we can probably give a lot of helpful info that way.
Okay.
Exactly. All right. So I put together this presentation. What is a marketing funnel? It's a system designed to generate leads, nurture those leads into sales opportunities, ultimately turning those opportunities into sales. Today's marketing funnel is complex. So what better way to explain it than on a cocktail napkin? A little bit about me. I'm married to Joni, got 2 boys, Jack and Sam. They're heavily into sports. We do a lot of outdoor activities. We got a dog. His name is Bailey, after Bailey's building savings and loan from It's a Wonderful Life. That was my wife's decision to name the dog. We had no choice in the matter. I love all things digital marketing. So the modern marketing funnel. Here we go. The modern marketing funnel. Hold on. Why am I? I'm sorry for this. I don't know. My notes are messed up. All right. So the modern marketing funnel can be divided into 4 stages. When a prospect moves down the funnel from one stage to the next, we call it a conversion. To make a sale, we need prospects to know, like, and trust us. We buy from businesses we know, like, and trust. Finally, we want people to love us, because who doesn't want to be loved? So conversion number 1 is impressions to visits. This is where a prospect gets to know us. We build awareness and interest in this stage of the funnel. Our goal is to drive traffic to our website through various marketing channels such as SEO, advertising, and PR. Your website is the hub of all your marketing efforts, as Dave has already mentioned. It's where customers get to know us, communicate with us, and eventually buy from us. We point visitors to blog articles, videos, infographics, and other content. Creating great content is a key factor in the modern marketing funnel. We use content to demonstrate our skills, our expertise, and our experience. We tell our story on the website. Conversion number 2 is visitors to leads. This is where a prospect gets to like us. Regardless of where the prospect comes from, we drive traffic to landing pages to capture contact information, turning prospects into leads. At this stage of the funnel, we nurture leads and continue to develop the relationship with them. This is usually accomplished with email. Not every prospect turns into a lead. Most will exit your website and exit the funnel. By using retargeting technology, we attempt to bring them back into the funnel. We call this remarketing. Conversion number 3 is lead to sale. we've done if we've done a good job of nurturing our leads, we establish some trust. Now we have an opportunity to make a sale. Using a strong call to action, we ask them to purchase from us, or in a lot of other cases, we schedule an appointment. And finally, the last conversion is sales to review. Once we've made a sale, now we have a customer. At this stage of the funnel, we continue to build relationships so they come to love us. When they come to love us, they will recommend us, refer us, and provide reviews and help build our brand. And finally, this is what Metro Annex Interactive does. We build marketing funnels. We design them, we build them, we maintain them, we improve them. It's all in an effort to generate leads and sales opportunities for our clients. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my friend Dave to get into the nitty gritty of some of the website ins and outs.
Thanks, Matt. Joe, am I able to share my screen?
You are.
Okay. All right. All right, so I'm going to get right into it in terms of the website. So on the right, you can see I have a picture of a foundation. The reason being that really, this really is the foundation for your business online. Everything that you do that Matt just talked about, from SEO to pay-per-click to Facebook advertising, it's all leading into your site. So that really has to be strong before you set any of the other pieces up, because that's where people are going to finally make their decision. So a couple of things to really keep in mind, and we're going to start with some basics. And you really have to make sure that your website loads quickly and it's easy to use on desktop, mobile, and tablet devices. So you want to make sure that you're checking your site on mobile, checking it on tablet, making sure it's easy to navigate and use. You want to make sure you have clear calls to action on all pages of your site. So you want to give people multiple ways to contact your business or to purchase online. And you want to make sure you have clean imagery that complements your brand. And I really do recommend hiring a photographer to do a photo shoot at your business. For a lot of companies who we work with, we'll send a photographer out once a quarter, to take new photos that we can use for social media and other digital marketing, as well as on their website. And so in the physical world, I actually got, my background is in graphic design. I have a degree in graphic design. I started my business in 2005. But in that time, I also worked for 2 years at Whole Foods Market as a graphic artist for them, and had my clients, sort of nights and weekends, and then jumped out full time to my own business from there. And in that, I really learned about how in the physical world, you need something that is both beautiful, but also shoppable and easy to shop and easy to purchase the products. So in the digital world, it's really the same is really true. So you don't want to leave empty cardboard boxes in your digital aisles. You want to make sure everything is clean, crisp, and easy to understand, and make it easy for customers to contact your business. And I put this here because this is a good example of, in the physical world, you have this really cool display, right? The jack-o'-lantern made out of cans. But if they just had that there and they didn't have the cans in front to easily shop and buy, then it would just be a beautiful display. It wouldn't do anything for the business. So you need to really balance the beauty of your website with the functionality and the ease of use. So in that same way that you do in the physical world, a lot of the same applies to the digital. And we're going to make a few analogies in the presentation here. So starting with the basics, you really want to make sure that right down to the font size and the line heights, the space between each line is very easy to read, especially on a mobile phone. So what we've actually done for a lot of our clients is we've looked at the Boston Globe and the BostonHerald.com. I mean, these are the guys where if you're not reading their site, then they're failing. So we've tried to match that style for a lot of our clients, because it means that it's going to be really easy to read what's on the site. And you put all that work into all the content, and if it's not easy to read, then why do it? The next thing is that first impressions are really so important on your site. So you need clean and easy to understand imagery. You know, this image, we have the wording over it with quality and consistency, but in the background, we're also portraying that. And you can also, in this one image, take away that they're a large business. You know, they can likely work with any size client because we're showing the depth of the business, both, you know, literally and figuratively here. So understanding what is that first impression for your client really makes, you know, for your customer when they come to your site is going to make a big difference for your business. Another just layout of photography here, and I need to give a shout out to Steve Mason, who we use as a photographer, local photographer. He's an amazing photographer, does excellent work, especially for challenging industrial clients. And we brought him into this client to shoot together on this project. And you can see that right away, you get a clear idea of what this business does, that they're passionate about their work, that they have the employees they need to get the job done right, and that they have the tools and the resources to get each service that they provide done correctly. Versus if this were stock photography, you know, this whole entire website would look different and it wouldn't convert at the same rate. So it really is worth spending the money to get a photographer into your business to take quality photos. So understanding the customer journey to your site and then through your site. So in the same way in the physical world, right, they put the milk and the eggs in the back of the store because you have to walk through the store and walk through everything else to get to the milk and the eggs, which they know you need. The same is true on the web. You know, you have to think about how is the customer going to work through your site. And that means on a phone, easy to touch mobile menus, and not just easy to touch to open, but also make sure that they're easy to touch to close. So you can see we pointed out the X here on the right, real clean, easy to touch you know, lines here so that they're not super small. You're not sort of like doing that pinch and zoom on a phone. You can clearly and easily touch them. Also making sure that the menu sticks to the top of the site, right? So when someone scrolls down your site, if the menu doesn't stick, what we call stick to the top, then every time that they want to get back up to your menu to potentially go to your contact page or to go to another page on the site, they would have to scroll all the way back to the top of the site. So instead of having to scroll back to the top of the site, if you stick the menu to the top, then the menu is always there no matter where they are in the wording and the copy on the site. And then making sure that links and buttons are easy to touch, right? You've done all that work to get your customer into your site. You've spent money on marketing. You've put resources into content and SEO. And then when they get to your site, if it's not easy to touch and navigate and contact you, you've done all of that work for nothing. So that's why we really put so much focus on that final spot, which is your website, and how does it look and how easy is it to navigate. And calls to action. It sounds simple, right? But so many companies only put their phone number either in the footer or on the contact page. Put your phone number in multiple places on your site and have real clear calls to action. You know, this call to action, contact our team to get started today. You know, so we're showing again, the depth of the business, the size of the business in that picture and in the call to action. And then make sure that your phone numbers are tagged with telephone links. So again, go on the mobile phone, check out how easy it is to actually click to call your business. There's one restaurant that you know we really like to go to on Friday nights, and the challenge with their site for so long was that, you know, you go to their website, you could order online, but you couldn't click to call them. The phone number wasn't clickable. So you have to go back, you have to remember the phone number, find a way to put it into your phone. A lot of people are not going to take the time to do that. They're going to jump to the next business. So make sure that phone number is click to call. And actually on the right here, on my Framingham Salvage example that I have here, it would actually be better if this phone number were underlined so it looked like a link. So I've just shown it without a link here so you can see the difference. If this is underlined and it looks like a touchable link, people are going to be more likely to touch and call you. And then the other thing is give customers multiple ways to contact you. You don't know if they prefer forms, do they prefer email, or do they prefer phone? So put all of those touch points and ways to contact you in one clean design. A lot of the younger customers may prefer the form. some customers may be reluctant to use a form depending on what the service is, because you don't know where that info is going when you send it through a form. So they may want a direct email, or they may want to call you. So give them multiple ways. And what we found in the customer journey, in the same way that we talked about the milk being in the back of the store, a lot of customers will come into your site. They'll find you on Google, or they'll find you on social media or through your ads. Then they'll come into your site, and a lot of times they'll do a secondary search even after they come into your site for XYZ company reviews. So they get into your site. Let's say the site's, DeBlasio New Media Marketing. Then they go and they do a search for DeBlasio New Media Marketing reviews. And now they're going to look for your reviews, but take that step away from them by putting the reviews directly on your site. Now, of course, some customers are still going to be reluctant. They may still want to go and look at a third party for reviews, but if you can give them your reviews right on your site, both in short snippets like I have on the right, where it shows a couple of your best reviews, but then give them a button where they can read all of your reviews. And when you do that, you're going to have a page that shows all of your 5-star reviews. And you also don't want to have that list go on forever without a call to action. So on that page, we recommend having 3 reviews and then a call to action, 3 more reviews and then a call to action. The reason being that on a phone size, especially when you fold these into a phone, on desktop, you already have to scroll up, but on a phone, you have to scroll even more, because this content gets compressed into a small phone size. So if they have to scroll through all these reviews before they see your phone number, a lot of them aren't going to do that. So we recommend, again, that call to action in multiple spots. And then finally, really simple but important, include what's most important to your customers in short and clear headlines, and entice them and lead them into your products and services. So in the same way that in a store, they're going to give you this really important info in a big sign, because they know it's going to entice you to buy more. The same has to be true here, and take them through a journey. You have a chance to do that on the web. So this is an e-commerce site that we recently launched, and she had these awesome characters in her book. So we took the characters, and just by placing the little characters on her photo, it takes this photo from being a serious doctor, photo, to showing a little personality and fun. And then same here, it takes it from being just sort of like a photo of a family to now you have something fun and engaging that takes them through a story. And here's a little example of just short headline. What matters most to your customer should be in a short headline at the top of your site. Think about what matters most to them, and then put it in a short headline that's going to get right to the point. And here's a shout out to Artie Media and Darren here. Video is extremely important. So really use it to tell your story in a more engaging way. And I just have a couple more slides here, and we're almost complete. We'll open up to questions. Also, another way to use video, and Darren can probably speak to this at Artie Media, is get one of your customers to do a review for you in video. Right now, it's taking that video and bringing it to life and giving it personality. And so why does CVS use these cards? It's not to give you the coupons, it's to get your data and understand their customers better. So all of this that you're doing on your site needs to be tracked. And that's a whole other presentation in itself, but you want to make sure that you're tracking everything, and that every decision that you're making in the long term is based on data. And we do that through Google Analytics. So all the sites that we work with, and most companies these days work with, they're going to have Google Analytics on them. But understanding how do you set up conversions to understand how many customers called you, how many customers sent you a form, which pages are bringing in the most customers. All of that is how you make decisions on where to spend in the future based on the data that you're seeing now. So that's really what I wanted to present today, and sort of open up the doors to questions and digital marketing in general, and just sort of give you an overview with that presentation.
All right, Dave, we did have a few questions during the course of both presentations, and I'll just read one. One was a question about, how do we bring back somebody who's left the website without taking action? So we've driven them to the website, they've been there, now they're leaving. How do we keep them there?
The best way to do that is with retargeting technology. I'm sure you've heard of the Facebook pixel and pixeling a website, and you might know it as cookies. You probably see on every website you visit, there's a little thing that say, "We use cookies, please accept our terms." That's the best way to reach somebody. If they visited your site, but they haven't filled out a form or called or chatted with you with your chat app or whatever technology you're using to communicate. Because retargeting is good because it builds audiences. Every platform today has retargeting technology. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, they all have retargeting technology, and you can build audiences on those platforms and then send targeted messages to them, advertisements to them to bring them back into the fold. This is a great way to get them back in. Another thing you can do is use artificial intelligence technology to find contact information. So nowadays, you can utilize technology. You don't even need them to fill out the form. If they visit a page and we know enough now with technology and software that we can find a lot of information out about somebody who visits our site, even if they don't reach out to us. And then there are a number of ways to reach out back to them through ads, through email, and such. But it's important to set up that technology.
And Matt, can I just break in here? Does that mean that even if they don't reveal their contact information, you have technology that can capture it on the web, on your client website?
In most cases, yeah, that it is. I mean, there's so much data out there on every one of us on a number of platforms. Data is sold back and forth to big data companies. So in most cases, 95% of the time, I could probably find out everything I need to know about you just by having you visit my website.
Okay.
One of the things that I would add to that we've been seeing a lot of success with is being able to target people based on what are they currently looking for right now. So through Google display retargeting, we can show ads to people. For example, if they're in market for video production services, right? We can show ads to them of Artie Media across the web, because we know that they've done a recent search of video production service companies, right? And so we build that audience based not on the fact that they visited your site, but on the fact that they've currently done a search for your service, and then shown them ads for your service across the web, on YouTube, within their Gmail, on news and blog websites. So that way we're bringing them into your site because we know their intent is to buy, not that they've already visited, which is, I think, another big area that people miss out on. And the cool thing about display targeting that way is that the cost per click is a lot lower than a keyword click. And part of the reason is that you are going to get some junk clicks in that service, because if you ever notice these ads when you're scrolling through a news site, every once in a while you accidentally click on the ad, it brings you into the site. So Google actually discounts the ads based on that knowledge that not every customer is going to be perfect. So the ads that could cost you $3 per click on the keyword side are only going to be about 20 cents, 25 cents on the display ad side. So we're doing that for a lot of clients right now, and we're seeing conversions. So it's not just clicks into the site, it's conversions to new customers. So something to consider.
And
Yeah.
Darren brings up the topic of key indicators. What are the performance indicators that you should look at for on your website and try to track through back-end analytics?
That's going to depend on your goals, your objectives, but in general, you want to track, number of visitors. You want to track repeat visitors. You want to track time on site, how many pages that they've visited, your bounce rate. A bounce rate is they go to one page and then they leave. If they go to one page and they stay a long time, or they go to a next page, then your bounce rate is lower. You want a low bounce rate. It means people are sticking around more. So those are some of the main metrics you would want to use, keep track of for your website.
So
Okay.
one of the things too that is I think is really important, and it comes back to tagging the phone numbers with telephone links, right? So if someone's on your site and it's tagged with a tel link, we're able to track that in Google Analytics. So we can track the number of people who actually click on a phone number on your mobile site and count that as a conversion within Google Analytics. So we're showing our clients, hey, we sent you XYZ people, but we know you care about how many called you. This is how many called you. And then we're also able to track when they send a form, we're sending them to a thank you page after that form. So we know how many people went to that thank you page, so we know if they've sent a form. So we're tracking really a lot of the key indicators that we're looking at are people who actually contact the business. So if we can show clients that, we're showing them the results that they really care about. We also track the number of people who click on an email link. So all email links should also be tagged with a mail to link, so that when they open it, it opens your email client right away. So they don't have to actually go and copy and paste the email link. And because we're tracking the mail to link, we can track how many people actually clicked on that in Google Analytics and show that as a conversion too.
Yeah.
Okay. And Helen put in the chat a question about LinkedIn, that there's a lot of data in there. And she asks, what are some of the tools within LinkedIn that people should be using more aggressively?
Within LinkedIn, I mean,
Yes.
Sales Navigator is a great tool. If you have, a paid subscription to LinkedIn, they provide a lot of additional tools and ways to communicate with people.
Okay.
There's a number of other tools out there that, depending on if you're, if you're integrating in with AI tools or a CRM, that you can pull information in with that as well. Most CRMs will have some type of integration or connection to LinkedIn that allow you to find data and organize your contacts and ways to reach them.
And let me just weigh in. We recently licensed a software package called Seamless AI for artificial intelligence. And it actually snaps right on to LinkedIn and allows us to segment a list within LinkedIn and then cross it with Seamless AI and immediately obtain full contact information that is typically not in LinkedIn, like their corporate email, their personal email, their corporate phone number, their cell phone, their address, the size of their company. And it's really valuable marketing information. Dave, you any thoughts on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I noticed with LinkedIn is that you want to post to your personal LinkedIn or to a company's personal LinkedIn versus to your company page on LinkedIn, unless you're paying for ads. The personal LinkedIn accounts get a lot more visibility than the company LinkedIn accounts. So for a lot of clients, even, we've been asking the CEOs of the companies if we can have access to their LinkedIn and do our postings directly to their personal LinkedIns. And if we do post to their business page, we're actually tagging the people who are in the business on the business post. Because otherwise, you'll notice on LinkedIn company pages, it's sort of like Facebook. If you post to your business page without paying, no one's going to see it. So, probably something worth mentioning there too is you can. In the past, it used to be I would see people blogging all the time without using SEO, but now I see people posting to their Facebook business page without paying Facebook, and that's like yelling into the void. That there's no one's going to hear you.
Thanks, David. Joe, you want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn groups before we jump from this topic?
Yeah, just it's another tool within LinkedIn that's mighty handy. Discussion groups for those of you, and I think we're all pretty much familiar with them. People will create discussion groups based on a certain niche or specialty or interest or whatever it might be. There's a discussion group for My Pinnacle Network, which is for members and B2B professionals. So you can post in discussion groups with the idea of starting a conversation. It as a marketing tool, it works as sort of positioning you as a thought leader and subject matter expert. We've had some success with some franchise clients where we posted in various groups where people that are either have franchises or looking to buy into franchises. And for one particular client, they had they started a corporate division. It's a dry cleaner, Lapel's Dry Cleanings. They started their corporate division, and we basically just reposted a link to a press release. We did use some sort of provocative question to start the discussion. It ended up in creating a relationship with a few, I believe, were hotels, and that particular discussion generated 6 figures in revenue for Lapels. So it can be a very effective tool. That might be the exception, what happened with Lapels, but certainly it increases your visibility, which for yourself or your clients, depending on how you're using it.
Okay.
Joe, I wouldn't even think that that's the exception. I think you're probably really onto something because, there are just not enough companies who are taking the time to go that step. So, that's a great idea to get into some of these groups and start being sort of a thought leader right within the group.
Can I go to the topic of SEO? How has it changed recently? What are you anticipating for the new algorithms to be able to attract attention and draw people to your website?
I would, well, I mean, SEO, there's three main components to SEO. There's technical SEO, there's on-page SEO, and there's off-page SEO. Technical and on-page SEO is completely in your control to do a lot to be visible. One of the big things is always focus on a set of keywords that is highly relevant to your business. Although you want to keep SEO in mind and search engines in mind, you really have to write to your customer, not to the search engines. The website is designed to communicate with your customer. Search engines, that there's certain things there. As far as that, SEO is encompassing on all platforms, on social, even on email. There's a SEO component, and if you have a good plan with some keyword research and develop good solid content, you can be found within your niche.
Okay, and I guess my other question is, what do you see anything changing? I know that SEO has changed over the years. Sometimes it favors videos, sometimes it favors reviews. I've heard that voice technology is also a big component now. Is there anything else new? And I know they don't fully reveal what their algorithm is, but what do you anticipate?
Yeah, I mean, I can jump in on that. And, we try to sort of have a good idea of what's changing based on what's, paying attention to the SEO headlines and keeping a sort of an eye on the back burner in terms of that. But we don't go too wild with it as long as what we're doing is not spammy. So as long as you're not providing spam content onto your site, then you really can sleep at night, and as long as you're not doing a lot of black hat sort of backlinking and paying people to put a ton of backlinks out there that you don't know where they're going, then, you should be able to sleep at night and not worry about the algorithm, from a day-to-day basis. A lot of the ways that we look at SEO is we'll take a set of 24 or 48 keywords to focus on a company for an entire year. And each month we're adding 2 new pages or 4 new pages of content specific to each of those keyword categories. So we're really providing content that answers clients' questions when they go to search. And by doing that, we're placing our clients at the top of search for the most valuable keywords in their industry, because there aren't a lot of companies out there doing it in that same way, and doing it the right way. So I think as long as you're providing the right answers to people's search questions, whether that question is, what's the best dentist near me in Easton, or whether that question is, how do I build a deck? You know, you're providing answers to people's questions either way, and you're bringing new potential customers in by answering those questions. So in terms of changes, in terms of search, people talking into their phone, we're seeing a lot more near me searches, a lot more question searches. So because someone's talking into a phone or a device, they're asking more questions of the search engine because it feels more conversational to them, because they're using their voice instead of typing. So we're looking at long tail keywords that use questions, and we're answering those questions for people, and near me searches, because they're so, they know now that if they do a near me search, it's going to return better results to them, because over time people are getting better at searching. So those are things that we're looking at and following.
Okay.
Yeah, to add to that, when you're creating content, it's really good to utilize questions in your titles and your headlines because of what just Dave said. And if you're not doing a lot of your own research, you know, and collecting questions along the way, a good starting point for finding questions and finding things that are relevant, there's a website called Answer the Public, which is a really, really neat tool. You can just throw in your keyword phrase and it'll generate a lot of questions and a lot of other like long tail keywords and things. And it's a really good planning tool for content. So I would suggest checking that out.
What was the name of that site again, please?
It's called answerthepublic.com.
And I have clients that want to be the Bible, the reference for their entire industry, and they're desperate to add links to their trade association, to some other key resources that they feel are strategic partners. What's your strategy for that kind of resource page? Do you feel that it pulls people off of the client site and loses them as a visitor? Or does it add strengths because maybe they're exchanging backlinks?
I mean, I think if it's reciprocal with a local business where the other local business also has a similar page that they're putting out there, then it can help both of you. I think if you're like sometimes real estate agents want to have that page where they know every local professional and they can go to that page and, you know, they're sort of building a relationship with people through that page, you know. But if they're doing it just for SEO, then a lot of times I find people are chasing their tail, spending time in the wrong place with link building. You know, they'd be a lot better served to spend their money on developing better content on their site, or developing a more well-designed site that converts at a better rate when someone does come into their site. You know, so I've always found that link building is really a lot of chasing the tail, and you know, if you do it the right way, if your site is set up the right way, in the long run, you're going to get those links anyway. So, you know, just and be cautious too, because if you do it with the wrong company, you can find yourself blacklisted by Google real quick.
Yeah, to add to that, I think really it's more relationship building, right? If you want people to link back to you, links are votes. Not all links are created equal. So if you're linked to inappropriate, you know, if inappropriate sites are linking to you, to Dave's point, it's going to hurt you. So as far as what you can do, interlinking is important. So as you create content, Dave said that, you know, there's a strategy where you develop it now, you know, content month in and month out. It's really good to go back to your content and update that content. If we're building, you know, content related to, I don't know, email marketing, and I have a number of email marketing articles that I've published along the way. I should be going back and pointing people interlinking with, article to article and saying, oh, this is also about that. It's very beneficial for the search. As far as outside links, it has to be relationship building. It has to be relevant. There's nothing wrong with linking somewhere else and saying, hey, this is a good resource, but just do it naturally as you develop content and, develop relationships. Don't go hunting for every link that you can, because in the end, it'll probably hurt you. Joe.
So I have a question for both of you in terms of call to action. I think sometimes we think that it's kind of narrow. It's either, give us a call, send us an email, fill out a form. Sometimes people are just visiting for information. And I wanted to get your thoughts on things like lead magnets and ways to engage people while they're visiting and possibly get that information.
Yeah, we love Privy. So Privy is actually a Boston-based company that they did just get bought by a larger company, but we really like Privy. If you go to privy.com, we set up lead captures through Privy, where if someone's been on your site for 10 seconds or 15 seconds, they'll get something that will prompt them to get a discount or to get a free consultation or to get a downloadable PDF. Right. And so as soon as they enter their email, that PDF gets sent to them. And now you have their contact info and you can follow up on your own as well. So that's worked out really well. For e-commerce sites, giving a small discount works really well through those pop-ups. Someone's on your site 15 seconds, then they get a 10% discount. I mean, that people take it and they're going to buy a lot faster. The studies show that they'll buy faster if you offer them that. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents on that.
All right. And number of people have a question about, in general, what's the platform that a website should be built in? Is it sort of exclusively WordPress from your standpoint?
I'm going to hide behind the shield here as we start talking about this one, because it's a heated topic.
Well, we develop in WordPress primarily. If it's an e-com platform, then there's other things out there such as Shopify, and you're gonna go with a platform related to e-commerce. WordPress is very versatile. There's a lot out there. A third of the websites out there are built on WordPress. There are a lot of custom sites too that don't rely on a content management system such as WordPress. But it really depends on what you're looking to do. There are certain things like like Wix and Weebly. They're not bad platforms, but sometimes depending on how in depth you want to go, such as with SEO, some platforms are not SEO friendly, like WordPress is.
Yeah, I would just say, so I think Matt and I both have a background in HTML and CSS and designing within code, and so even though we build a lot, I say WordPress is sort of the go-to for service industry businesses, and Shopify is the no question answer for e-commerce. I would never build any site with e-commerce not on, it would have to be on Shopify. And so from a WordPress standpoint, having a background in HTML and understanding code goes a long way to the design of the site. And that's really true for any of these builders that are out there, so you may be able to sort of get your message out there, but is it gonna doing it in a clean and easily and clean design is another story a lot of times. For companies who are really small and just getting started, sometimes I'd recommend Squarespace as a builder, as a website builder, as a first site. And then when they get to a point where they've outgrown that, go to a company who can build them a custom site on WordPress. Stay far away from Wix. If your site's on Wix, then you need to get off of that. Spend the money, spend the 10 grand or whatever it is to get away from that site. Wix is going to devastate your business. I mean, really, it's terrible for SEO. It always has been, and really just Wix and Weebly, both of them, I wouldn't go anywhere near them.
Horrible stuff.
Okay. And a question from Janet Parnes is, how do I make my email address
Clickable.
Yeah,
That's
Can you-
there's
yeah.
just a tag that you put on the email address. So when you create the link, instead of using the HTTPS blah blah blah, you just put TEL : and then the number, and that's all you need to link it.
Oh,
Very
all right.
simple.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Just put TEL. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Don't forget the colon.
Okay. TEL in the code. Thank you.
And what about some of these other sort of all platform in one, like HubSpot, and there are a number of other website sort of builders as well as sort of marketing tools. Any comments on that?
There's well, HubSpot is technically a CRM, I guess you would say. They have website builders, and a lot of HubSpot competitors, CRM platforms, they get more and more features added on. Oh, we can build a website there and all that. I would say that you want to build your own website, not use a builder from HubSpot or any of those CRM platforms, just because you have full control over what you can do with the site. HubSpot's a great marketing tool. It's good CRM, and it's very good at inbound marketing, content marketing. CRMs there's a ton of them out there, and most of them have a lot more features than you'll ever use. So it's important to find one that really works for your business. Salesforce is the big one. Everybody hears about that, but if it's only you or one or two people using it, it's probably much bigger gorilla than you're willing to do. It's really focusing on the key features that are really important for you in regards to a CRM.
Okay. All right. I think we're close to the end of our hour. Any other final shout out questions or comments from anyone?
I've got one I'd like to ask, please.
Sure.
Along with what Matthew was just saying, I'm a one-man show. What type of a CRM would you suggest?
There's a few simpler CRMs that are pretty easy to set up on your own. Pipedrive is a decent one. There's another one called Salesflare. There's quite a few of them out there, but Pipedrive and Salesflare are ones that I've used before and help people implement. One of the key things that you want to do with the CRM, if it's just you, is you want to be able to connect it to your website, so you can see when you send an email out and there's a link that goes to your website or anything. You want to be able to track that stuff within your CRM internally. The less tools you have to go look at, the better, particularly when it's just you.
Right. Thank you.
I would just throw in MailChimp as well, that they're building more and more into what used to just be an email platform, has gotten more and more along the lines of a CRM, especially for smaller companies.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Matthew.
You're welcome.
Right. Any final burning desires to share or ask? Yeah, Darren.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to Dave for the shout out. Really appreciate it. And this has been a wonderful, informative presentation. Thank you as well, Matt.
They're two great
Welcome.
professionals. It's a joy to watch for you. And you can see when you're excited when you're going on about your things, like you both are like, oh, into it, like you're answering your questions. You're so in tune with what you know is right. And you're so careful to make sure you're giving us good, sound advice. I find both of you highly recommendable, and just a pleasure to know both of you. Appreciate your expertise. And we're having worked with both of you. I can clearly say that it's good. Very good presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'll
Okay.
look at your bill later.
Janet's talking, but
Oh yeah, she's I'm sorry. There you go.
I picked up some really pragmatic, doable tips, and I thank you both, Dave and Matt. It was a very clear, concise, targeted presentation. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Well, thank you, Dave and Matt and Joe and Lois for helping manage this webinar. We will keep you informed of upcoming webinars as well. We'll also email this recording to you if you want to watch it again and take the quiz at the back end. And thank you for participating. We look forward to seeing you down the road. Take
Great,
care.
thanks, Dave.
All right.